This conference will now be recorded.
What have you got? Oh, okay, then we're good.
Your mic's off, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Today is Monday, January 26th. It is approximately 5:45 p.m. This is the regular meeting of the CRA, which is Community Redevelopment Association. And I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask our city clerk to kindly do roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Lance Smith. Charles Proctor.
Here.
Kenneth Burgess.
Here.
Stephen Spina. Jody Wilkerson.
Here.
William Poe. Matthew Maggard.
Here.
Mayor Munson.
Okay, so the mayor, our city manager, and our other elected officials are in Tallahassee for legislative days, but we do have a quorum. So at this time, I would like to ask the Mr. Proctor or Commissioner Burgess to please allow me to move the business item 1.3 to the top. Can we have a motion for that?
I make a motion. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I'll ask Ms. Hamilton to begin with item 1.2.
Commissioner, if we could get approval of the minutes?
Yes, certainly. So item 1.1 is approval of the CRA meeting minutes from December 8th, 2025.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and approval, a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. So now we'll move on to 1.3, Ms. Hamilton.
Thank you. Tonight we have a residential ownership incentive grant application for Diane McDaniel. This is, the address is 5449 10th Street, Zephyrhills, Florida, 33542. This is our first $10,000 grant incentive program or incentive. Ms. McDaniels meets all of the grant's requirements. Staff has reviewed everything and looked into the title and the closing. She meets all of the criteria and staff recommends approval. Also, Ms. McDaniel is in the audience if you have any
Welcome.
questions.
Okay.
I make a motion that we pass the grant.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Diane Bell McDonald Residential Ownership Grant located at 5449 10th Street. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Yes, welcome.
You guys don't need to stay, you can leave if you want to.
That's right.
You're going to miss all the fun.
Get home before it gets too cold. All right, the next item on the agenda is the Zephyrhills Photo Contest winners. I know that I have Lito in the group. Who else is here? Do I have Mayhub? Machu. I knew I would say it wrong. My apologies. Adams? Raymond Adams? Nope. And Lito, I know you're here. Hey, sweetheart, have you seen your picture? Y'all come on up. Oh, sweetheart.
Oh.
Our CIO, Kevin Weiss, has provided us with large photos. So if I could get you to hold your photo.
Look at that face. Lord, I
Look
love
at that face. Is that not wonderful? And Lisa, that was yours. Right?
Okay.
So let me be announced. I'm gonna, I don't want to be in the photo.
Oh, no, that works. Yeah, we can, if you want to step away, then
Yes.
get a little bit closer. we can
Okay.
grab one. All right.
So this is
Scoot
part
a
of,
bit closer. There we go.
Kevin is working on getting the photo correct. This is part of the SCCMA photo contest. Our number one photo is the little boy at Hercules Park. But y'all don't sit down yet and I'll give you your money. It is my pleasure to present to you the $300 for our number one photo. Thank you so much. And Leo, here is your $100 check. Thank you so much for participating.
I'm sorry, I couldn't see. Which photo was yours, sir? Will you show us your photos? Oh, that was adorable.
So is that
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
Are you guys all city residents or are you just visiting from outside? Okay,
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for participating.
thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for
Seeing
coming.
you.
And do not forget, Kevin will be sending out emails. We win by those who get the most votes. We're on the front page of the website, on the voting website.
Yeah.
So please, everybody go online and vote.
Okay.
All right.
You'll send us a link, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll forward it out to our friends. Good luck to all of you, yeah.
Last year we came in second. This year, Kevin and I are determined to come in first. That is a great photo and it should be on the front page.
It is. It really captures the spirit of that park and its intended purpose, for
So
sure.
we're not going to let you keep the photos just yet. We're going to put them on display and then we'll send them. We're going to keep them, okay? But then we'll send them to you. We want everybody else to see them, okay? All right. Thank you, sweetheart.
Mhm.
We're going to keep it. We'll give it to you later, okay? Thank you, Kevin.
You just take the check and we'll be back in touch, right?
Okay, and that is the last thing I have. I do have a short director's report for the CRA Commission. Zephyr Park kickoff. We met with our contractor Reese Young and Kimley Horn and city staff last week. The kickoff on Zephyr Park has begun. All the years that we've been waiting and working, we're here. Fences will go up soon. The contractor and the designer will be working with each other. And Shane will talk about next steps during a presentation later down the road. James, Lyon, Shane, Billy, and I walked with Kimley Horn down Fifth Avenue. We're redoing the landscaping on Fifth Avenue from 301 to 12th Street. We'll go all the way to 12th. This is part of the, not only landscape plants in confined areas do not live very long. It's been 6 years since they've been planted. It's time to start looking at replacing them. The irrigation, we didn't replace the last time we did plantings, so we're going to replace the irrigation as well. You know, we also took down the Washingtonian palms along Fifth Avenue and we'll replace those as well.
What are
And-
we replacing them with?
But they're going to come back with, we walked the area, they looked at it, and they'll come back with recommendations. Because we'll have a scope for the board to approve.
Thank you.
Second, we are working on, we'll have construction documents for Clark Plaza. The scope for the construction documents next month. We walk that. You have seen the concept plans. We're following up on that. If you don't remember them, I'll send them out to you so you can get reacquainted with them. It's been a couple of months since we looked at them. And Wednesday, the 28th, we'll do the kickoff for the construction of 8th Street and Oakside Cemetery. We've talked about it. We finally got the contractor. We've got through permitting. We're ready to go. We'll start at the end of the month. The contractor is Wharton Smith, and they will be responsible for working with the businesses along 8th and any issues with the front of Oakside, but we are staying within the current parameters of Oakside Cemetery. So we are not going into the cemetery. We are staying in the right of way. And I think that's it. Do I have any questions?
Yeah, so we'll have First Street, you said in about a month, be starting construction or
On 8th and
8th over here and then?
yes. Mhm.
Okay, and
By
then
the end of the month, by the end of
by
the
the end of
month.
the month, and we're doing this first and then First Street, is that,
Yes.
okay, and then,
And actually, if they can, they're going to do them both at the
Simultaneous,
same
yeah.
time.
and then shortly afterwards, hopefully Clock Plaza will start being
We can't start Clock Plaza until after Founder's
Founder's
Day.
Day, that's right. Okay.
So the idea is you'll get a scope of services. It's really a whole lot of irrigation and landscaping. We are just adding on to the existing bathrooms. So we hope to have the scope, you approve it. They create the construction documents. The day after Founder's Day,
We're gonna
we
get
start
going, okay.
working because it has to be open by October.
Do we have renderings of what that's going to look like? Okay. Also, are we informing the residents of what's happening? Are we doing any press releases as it relates to
For-
Zephyr Park or any of that?
We,
Because, closures, it's very important to be talking about that in advance, that we're going to be closing
when
it
we meet
under
with the
construction.
construction company on Wednesday, I'll make sure that's, if they haven't done it, that we make sure it's done. It's
Okay.
part of their contract, but we'll make sure that it's done. I'll work with Kevin and make sure that we get press releases out.
That sounds great.
It's a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal that we've got Zephyr Park ready to go, and people need to know
Mhm.
that we've talked about it. Government, we've talked about it for a long time. Well, we're here, we're ready to go. So we will start doing some practice or putting some information out. Also,
And those folks who
park
walk-
equipment. Have you seen the new park equipment? They're finishing it up. Shepherd's Park, they were playing on it the other day. It is nice to see the kids out playing and enjoying it. So thank you. And we will also do a rollout. Kevin is working on that already to roll out each one of the parks and take photos and let the community know the park is open and come and enjoy.
And Zephyr Park, when we're ready to stick a shovel in the ground, we're sticking in the ground. Doesn't matter what's planned or been planned or whatever, we're going.
That's right.
Okay.
And you all will be there to stick the shovel in the ground and wear the little hat. So we'll make sure. All right. So that's all I have. That's the end of my report.
Hey, Gail, Spilly.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you said that 8th Avenue is starting by the end of the month?
Yes,
Or
sir.
8th Street? Sorry, how does that impact Founder's Day and Pigs in the Hills?
It won't, it will not interfere at all. We've already talked about it.
Okay, all right.
It's, the replacement of the sidewalk will not interfere with the businesses on 8th Street. They figured out a way to keep those businesses open. I want to look up and see him. I can hear him.
I purposely turned the camera off.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're here though. Yeah, everyone's here.
Great.
All right. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you. And do we have a Main Street report as well?
No, not only is our commissioners up in Tallahassee, so is our Main Street director is in Crestview at a required meeting. So
Wonderful.
we'll
Okay.
have him update you at next month's meeting.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
if there's nothing further, does anyone like to, what's that?
Citizens comments.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Oh,
If there's nothing further, would anyone like to address the CRA regarding any concerns or questions? Yes, please come on up to the dais, Ms. Kim. State your name and address for the record.
Hello, good evening. My name is Kim Barker. I'm a real estate broker. I own Vitus Realty. My office address is 13915 7th Street, Unit 10 in Dade City. And I just wanted to make some remarks concerning the grant program. The lady that was in here tonight that received the very first grant, now that the grant has been increased to 10,000, was my customer. And I did not know that she was the first one to receive it since it was increased. So that was exciting to hear. I wanted to share with you that I've been trying to help her find a home since May of 2025. And she's either been outbid or there's been property conditions that have prevented her from being able to purchase something. This house is in really good condition. Everything, as a single woman on a fixed income, like she needed something that didn't have a lot of deferred maintenance. And this property, everything is great except for the windows. They're old and she wanted to replace those. So she was able to make a full price offer on the house. And she has reserves that she plans to replace the windows with. And then the listing agent informed us that there were multiple offers on the property and they were calling for highest and best. So it was like, well, here we go again. And we were afraid we were going to lose out on it. And I informed her of this grant program and it made all the difference. She was able to increase her offer price over and above the listing, and she beat the other bidders for finally. She was the winner of the bid. And when she receives the grant money, that will, replenish her reserves, and she will still be able to replace the windows on that house. And you'll have an owner occupant living a couple blocks away from Fifth Avenue. So I think that's what the program is meant to do. And I just wanted to let you all know what a huge win that is. And thank you all for approving her application. And I'd also like to say I'm very excited about all of the projects that are about to begin downtown at Zephyr Park, of course, and also Clock Plaza. I'm very pleased to see the city investing in the heart of downtown. Our historic district is so important, and I'm glad to see it prioritized. Thank you all, and I hope that continues. Good night.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission? Seeing none, I'll ask the other commissioners. Do you have any questions or comments or would like to share anything with the group?
No, ma'am.
Does our city attorney, do you have any comments? Okay, seeing none, I think we'll adjourn this meeting then.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular city council meeting, Monday, January 26, 2026. It's 5 after 6. Ricardo, would you do the roll call, please, sir?
Yes, Mr. President. Lance Smith,
Here.
Kenneth Burgess,
Here.
Stephen Spina,
Here.
Jody Wilkerson,
Here.
Charles Proctor,
Here.
Mayor Munson, William Poe,
Here.
Matthew Maggard.
Here.
All right, thank you, sir. Now we will move forward with the invocation. Miss Jackie, would you do the prayer and then we'll do the pledge?
All right. Okay. All right, let us pray. Dear wise and loving Father, on behalf of all who are gathered here today, we offer thanks for allowing us to gather here this evening for this council meeting. We ask for guidance in this meeting and that it will be productive in with every part of the agenda that will be discussed with clarity and effectiveness. We pray that for those that are sitting here on this council board, that their decisions are not based upon what they know naturally, but will be open to your wisdom so that they will wisely elevate their options, considering all options that are here for unification and to make the best decisions. May your grace and knowledge rest upon them right now. Lord, whatever you need to happen within this meeting that will result for this city to flourish and to be prosperous, these are the things that will be beneficial for the citizens of this city, and that the may desired outcome be achieved. Thank you, Father, that you know all things and understand every heart and need required here today. Thank you for all concerns and every voice to be heard, and that every mindset will be conclusive. I pray that the agenda set before today, that more than anything, that the outcome will be one pleasing to you and then pleasing to those who live and work in and around this beloved city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we will move forward to citizens' comments. If you want to speak to anything that's not on the agenda, you're welcome to step up and speak now. Is there anyone signed up, Ricardo?
No, sir, I have none signed up.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the council at this time? Seeing none, I'll move forward to the mayor, but she's not here. Are you doing that for me, chief? We're going to be swearing in a new officer, Officer Keenan Mullins. I hope I said that right.
Keenan, come on up. Good evening, council. Derek Brewer, Police Chief, City of Zephyrhills. Tonight I'd like to introduce our newest police officer, Officer Keenan Mullins, who was born in Michigan, where he spent most of his youth. He relocated to Naples, Florida, where he graduated from Barron Collier High School. After high school, he developed a strong sense of community and a desire to serve others, which led him to pursue a career in law enforcement. He then attended Pasco Hernando State College Police Academy, graduating October 17, 2024. Outside of work, Officer Mullins enjoys mixed martial arts, volunteering at church, spending time with quality time with loved ones. He is very thankful for his friends and family who supported him throughout this journey. At this time, I'm going to have Bree come up. All right, are you ready? Go ahead. Said you were ready.
It's hard, we know.
You can say, thank you. All right, Keenan, come on over here so I can, all right, go ahead and raise your right hand. I, Keenan Mullins,
I, Keenan Mullins,
a citizen of the state of Florida,
a citizen of the state of Florida
and of the United States of America,
and the United States of America,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Florida
and the Constitution of the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic and foreign,
domestic and foreign,
that I will bear true faith,
that I will bear true faith,
loyalty,
loyalty,
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of a police officer
the duties of a police officer
for the city of Zephyrhills,
for the city of Zephyrhills,
on which I am about to enter.
which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And have Rachel
congratulations.
left. Do you want to get one with her too? Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take some up there.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. All right, looks like we have 4 consent agenda items on the agenda this afternoon. If anyone would like to pull one for discussion, or I'll entertain a motion to pass all 4 at the same time.
Mr. President, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, we're moving forward to the public hearings. This item 2.1, I'll turn it over to Matt.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item 2.1 is the second reading of ordinance number 1511-26, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Zephyrhills, Florida, amending section 94.06, installation markers, monuments of the City of Zephyrhills Code of Ordinances, revising and standardizing cremains area marker dimensions, eliminating the new section 18 by 18 spaces category, providing for applicability, repeal or severability, inclusion of the code, and an effective date. And this is a public hearing.
Thank you, Matthew. I will go ahead now and open up the public hearing. And do we have any discussion?
I just had a question. I think there was a couple questions or last time on, I was just wondering if those were kind of solved or gone over. I don't know, Councilman Smith had, I think, some questions on the sizes and how we were, I can't remember exactly what it was.
I'm waiting on Billy to chime in.
Ricardo has that information, but yeah, the question was about the 17 by 17 and us reducing down to the 12 by 12. But we had staff went out and looked at, did a field inspection, and Ricardo has those numbers of, and I apologize, I don't have them off the top of my head, how many spaces remain and how much space is left in each row.
Yes. So currently we have 27 unsold plots in the cremains area. Of the ones that have been sold, there's a total of 53 that have been sold and or remains have been placed in them that currently don't have a headstone.
Okay.
So they don't have a headstone at all. There's 53 cremains that have been interred with no headstone.
Of the 53, 17 are currently occupied, 36 are in a sold status. So we haven't received a burial permit request for 36 of them.
Okay, so they're just reserved for the future
Yes.
for some
A few
parties.
people place headstones in advance, but currently those 36, it's just open space right now.
Okay, and of the 17, how many are 12 by 12? How many are 17 by 17?
I limited the search to just the new area, which is on paper, the 18 by 18. The old section, all of those were 12 by 12, so I excluded them for the purposes of this research.
Okay, so we have 17 that are 18 by 18 headstones and they're in place, is that correct?
So these 17, they're the 18 by 18 spaces, and currently the ordinance says that they can have up to 17 by 17 headstone.
Okay,
But the physical space available is not uniform. So even though the ordinance does authorize them to have the 17 by 17, each of these spaces wouldn't be able to accept a 17 by 17 headstone.
Okay.
And that is the core reason of making this amendment to the ordinance, to create uniform across the board. 11 by 11 would fit in each of these spaces, but the 17 by 17 won't fit in most of them.
Okay. And have we reached out to those folks? Do we have a process in place to do that?
I do have their contact information, so I can reach out to them and inform them of whatever council's decision is tonight.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Okay.
Nothing further from me, Mr. President.
Any more questions? Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions about this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and I'll turn it over to council.
I'll move for approval of ordinance number 1511-26 on second reading.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right.
Next item is business item 3.1. It's the first reading of resolution number 865-26, resolution of the City Council of the City of Zephyrhills, Florida, authorizing the City Council of the City of Zephyrhills to participate in a joint meeting of the Municipal Association of Pasco to discuss matters of mutual interest and providing for an effective date.
All right. This is not a public hearing. Is there any discussion on this?
Now I'll just move for approval of resolution 865-26.
I'll second.
I have a
I
motion
just
and a
ask
second.
that you check, see if anybody wants to speak.
Is there
to it.
anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this item? Seeing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Next item's business item 3.2, first reading of ordinance number 1512-26, ordinance of the City of Zephyrhills, Florida, creating Chapter 75, certified recovery residences of the Code of Ordinances, establishing procedures for the review and approval of certified recovery residences, providing for applicability, repeal or severability, inclusion of the code, and effective date.
All right. Is there any discussion on this, council? Is there anyone in the audience that has a question about this item? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
I can give you a rundown briefly.
Yeah, I'd like to have a little, I'm
go ahead.
reading through.
Florida statute, a bill was, I don't have the bill number in front of me, but there was a bill last year passed that amended Florida statute chapter 379 that requires local governments, counties, municipalities to put a procedure in place and put time limitations on our ability, on our requirement to approve or deny applications for accommodation under the ADA for certified recovery residences. So this establishes an application. It sets the time frame of how long we have to review it, and provides timing for our ability to request additional information. It also sets out the list of information required if somebody submits an application. And then it provides a process if it's denied for it to go before the city council for approval. Again, the actual standards aren't set out in here, the processes. And we'll handle them on a case-by-case basis, but there has to be a uniform process put in place. So if there is a request for accommodation, that we have a method of handling that. And then we believe it'll be a pretty fact-intensive analysis, because they're asking for us to change some of our rules for an accommodation. So we'll have to analyze them on case-by-case basis. And so if they're permitted under the code now, it could be administratively approved and is required to be administratively approved. But if they're asking for some kind of change to the or exception to land development code, it'll come before the city council.
Each time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and this ordinance that you, in your research, this is kind of like a standard time frame and stuff that you came up with?
No, the timeframes are mandated by statute.
They're all mandated. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll move for approval of ordinance number 1512-26.
I'll second.
I have a second and I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. 3.3, the tree ordinance.
First reading of ordinance number 1513-26. Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Zephyrhills, Florida, amending Part 7.06.00 landscaping of the Land Development Code, establishing Part 7.06.05 protection and regulation of trees, repealing Chapter 100 trees from the Code of Ordinances, and providing for repealer, conflict, severability, inclusion in the code, and an effective date. So looks like Will's going to speak to this, but there is a section 100 in the regular Code of Ordinances that addresses trees that we're going to repeal with this because we're addressing the Land Development Code, and we're repealing and replacing the entire landscape section, and Will can talk about to what parts, but part of that is creating a separate new section designated protection and regulation of trees. So that's the big picture rundown.
Do you have something for us, Will?
Yeah, I do. I have a presentation, and thank you, Matt. Will McCaw,
Would you say
community
your name
planner
and
here.
address?
Yes, Will McCaw. I'm a planner here with the city. So I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on some of the changes that we haven't had the opportunity to meet on, because this is both the tree preservation ordinance as well as the landscape ordinance that we are updating.
Just to be clear, it's all in the same chapter under the
Correct.
Land Development Code. So while we're making changes to the tree portion, we're updating the land so it all reads in uniformity.
Correct. So it's not going out and doing different sections, but they all are part of 7.06. And what we wanted to cover was the first start off with how we got here. A lot of the issues we had following the storms with tree loss and development in the surrounding area, as well as in the city, leading to a large loss of trees in the area. And so based off feedback and internal discussions, staff began reviewing the existing tree ordinance to try and determine where we were falling short and what we could do moving forward to help protect the tree canopy. We've met with arborists, landscape architects, members of the community, developers, determine where things were going wrong and what made the most sense moving forward, not just to make sure that we're planting trees moving forward, but protecting the ones that we have while still allowing development moving forward. While we were reviewing the tree preservation and removal ordinances, that's when it became clear that the landscape section of the code was also outdated and conflicting. So some of the structure of it was readjusted, and you'll see that in the ordinance. So the key objective that we wanted to do was focus on canopy protection instead of fee collection. So the goal isn't necessarily to take fees for people that are removing trees to do development. We want them to protect the trees. So that's a large part of what we identified with some of the consultants that we worked with. We also looked at the trees within the city and what we were trying to protect. We obviously have a lot of camphor trees. They're a category 1 on the FISC list. So theoretically, our code states that they need to be removed wherever possible whenever there's a development that's submitted. But given they're such a large part of our urban canopy, we carved those out as well. And so we also wanted to weigh some of the risks that you get, especially for residents around hurricane season. I'm sure were a little apprehensive about having trees on their property, especially if it was a risk for that. So we took that into consideration as well. And then from there, we looked at updating the landscape ordinance and retaining the existing fee schedule as much as we could. There wasn't very many increases. For the landscape plan, this is one of the few things we didn't touch on. So again, there was a lot of structural updates. Previously, it jumped from defining trees to then the landscaping requirements, then it jumped to tree removals and then back to buffers. So we just tried to reorganize it so that it was laid out in a way that anyone looking at the code could actually follow it instead of having to cherry pick which section they wanted to look at. Some of the updates that we made were specific updates for along the critical root zone around trees during construction, and different ways to protect trees during construction. These were made in accordance with the best standards from the different arborists and developers for landscape architects. The other thing was we also wanted to reduce the total of landscape buffers. We have 4, and then on top of that, there are addendums to each of those landscape buffers for vehicle use areas. So we kind of pared it down to 3 different types of buffers. It's the 10 and 15 foot buffers, and then there's a 20-foot buffer. Before it was 10, 15, 20, 20, and each one had different requirements and which one applied where. We streamlined it, reduced it to make it as simple as possible while still trying to allow for us to provide those buffers where they're needed between heavier uses and other residential uses or between incompatible uses. And then the last thing that we included was looking at the pedestrian connectivity in a lot of the developments. Most of the updates to this section won't apply to small mom and pop businesses that are coming in. The changes we made were effectively for businesses that are going to come in and require more than 30 parking spaces. So really large businesses, or in some cases, some restaurants will require 30 spaces, but they're not going to have a massive parking lot. So a lot of these won't apply. I want to show you all a couple examples. I wanted to go uniform, so I just went with 4 different Walmarts in the county, some within cities. This one's right by my house in Newport Richey. As you can see, there's a little bit of buffering, landscaping along 54 on the south there, but really not anything in the area where the parking area is. Then if you go over to this one in Wesley Chapel, the new one that was built, I believe that was 2014, you can see they have a couple of better pedestrian access with trees planting alongside of it, as well as those trees along the entryways there. And it was just a better design. It makes it more cohesive. And when you're going and parking, you're not then traversing through just asphalt city. You've got some shade interspersed here and there. Then if you look at the Walmart here in the city, again, not a lot of pedestrian connectivity. There is pedestrian connectivity on the west and to the north, but amongst the out parcels and even from the parking lot, there's really not a lot there. And then we have some landscape buffering there along the perimeter and even throughout, but what you'll see on this last one is what we're adopting. And this is the Walmart at 41 in Lutz area. And so the goal is every couple of rows of parking, you're going to have that pedestrian connectivity. So anyone that pulls into a parking space, they don't have to walk down the parking area. They have a sidewalk. They're protected from vehicles that way. And there's going to be more shading, which again, is going to make the environment a little bit better. Now, these were all 200,000 plus square feet buildings. We're not going to have a lot of those, I imagine, moving forward as the city moves out. But in the event that they do come, these are the requirements that we're going to have of them. And that was one of the things we updated. From there, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was how we help ahead of time. The goal is to shift the design schedule from applicants. A lot of the times when I worked in the private sector, we would look at a site unseen and, all right, how many units can we get? What do we have to worry about? Wetlands and floodplain, everything else, it doesn't matter. Well, now we're making it a step that we want to meet with the applicants during or after the pre-app before they spend millions of dollars on civil engineers to do site plans for anything. They're going to come to us, we'll walk the site with them, and then we'll identify those areas where we can protect those trees, save them money on the engineering side while still allowing that development. We updated the classification of the trees. This is something we've gone over. The language is now regulated instead of protected. Protected kind of means people take that to mean we can't touch the tree. You still can remove a tree if need be. So we changed the language to regulated. We still have grand trees, and then exempt trees are dead or dying trees, diseased trees, camphor trees fall in exempt. And then we have regulated palm trees, which is any palm tree that is 10 feet of clear trunk space. So that's from the ground to where you start to get the palm fronds actually reaching out near the top. Those then would be protected. We've added the qualified and unqualified tree removals for residential parcels. So this was one of the subjects that we had talked about previously. In order to protect the urban canopy, we want to provide protection for those trees, even in the residential districts. However, we don't want to burden people that are worried about their home getting damaged in a hurricane. So the qualified tree removal, if a tree on your property is a threat to any structures, or if you're planning to expand your home or build a pool or whatever it is, in that case, it'd be a qualified tree removal and the applicant doesn't have to pay any sort of fee. We just ask they submit an arborist evaluation of it that shows that, yes, this isn't a risk to the property or where they're planning on building, and then theoretically replace that tree 1-to-1. If it's not a risk, then they fall in that unqualified tree removal, which the fee is only $500 for the unqualified tree removal. We originally played around with the idea of making it a percentage of the main fee that we have for commercial developments, but instead we just $500 makes the most sense. It's not overburdening for residents while still discouraging people from removing trees that they don't need to. Then some of these last ones here, adopting a tree condition rating that was with, again, the best standards from, and I apologize, I don't have the name of the organization off the top of my head, but the arboriculture and best practices. This goes back to the residential tree removal. Again, any qualified removal, there's no fee associated. They just have to replace the tree at a 1-to-1 ratio. It doesn't even have to be the same species, but we are requesting that they plant one to replace it. And this is in line with state legislation as well. And then again, the unqualified removals, this is for a tree that doesn't really pose a risk. There's that $500 fee. For tree removal and preservation, the removal fees remain the same except for the largest grand trees. That fee was simply increased by, I believe, $25 for trees that are greater than 50 inches in width, which those are the trees we want to protect the most, which is why that fee went up. The other plus side of increasing the fee on those large trees is we introduced credits. The way that the credits work is when you remove a tree, you have to pay a certain multiplier times the size of the tree. The credit that we're then applying is almost triple that for some of the larger trees. So a 30-inch tree would be a 5-to-1 fee. So 5 times the width of the tree would be how much you pay in that fee. But if you save that same 30-inch tree, the credit is 15-to-1. So saving one of these larger trees is going to more than offset the fee that you would get for removing smaller ones. The goal being, again, to preserve those larger trees that we want to see in the city. We've also updated the city tree trust fund with a couple of items to address specifically how the city uses that tree trust fund moving forward. The next steps moving forward, if it is approved and adopted, would be public outreach to residents in the city to make sure that they're aware of these changes, because the last thing we want is a month down the road, no one hearing about this other than whoever's in attendance at the meetings. So we're going to reach out and get involved with the community, make sure they're aware of any of these changes. We're also going to meet with tree removal companies and arborists so that they're aware when someone is requesting them to come and remove a tree on the site. Well, did you get a permit? If not, here's how you go about it. Let's evaluate the tree. That way, not just residents are in the know, but the people that would be removing the trees as well. And then finally, we want to meet with the local developers and organizations such as the Tampa Bay Builders Association. That way, again, the developers know ahead of time, hey, I want to come to Zephyrhills and start this, but I know I have to take into account these trees on the property. So the recommendation would be to approve the Code of Ordinances amendment as presented. Additionally, following discussions internally and with arborists, we'd like to ask to add the additional language to the ordinance that I did not include in time, requiring that staff, the applicant, and a certified arborist all walk the site either prior to or shortly following a pre-app. And that was something we had discussed earlier, and it just didn't make it into the language in the updated ordinance. So that would be the only addition that we would ask for the recommendation.
All right, well, thank you.
Sorry, I was blasting through that, trying to save us a little time there.
You did good. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I have.
Councilman Burgess?
So as you stated, we're not looking to basically trying to charge fees. We're looking to preserve canopy.
Correct.
Okay, so as we do that, and you brought up that you're going to have like a site plan review where you go over that with the developers so they know ahead of time, because potentially saving this canopy is going to reduce the amount of density of something of their project potentially.
Correct.
Okay, so, and this is where we're going to make them aware of that early enough on where they can, and then in with that too, let's say we have a big grand oak, really special tree. Well, we want to make sure that as we're talking with them that, they're not going to preserve the tree and then stack four-story buildings on all four sides of it. It really doesn't do any good then. So, I mean, do we have considerations on how we're going to, develop that within the plan of the whole thing? So,
Certainly. And it obviously would be reviewed site by site, but
right, yeah, exactly.
near where I live in Starkey Ranch, they preserved a massive set of grand oaks right in the middle of where they were putting these retention ponds. And then within a year, those oaks died and have collapsed. And now there's just a random carve out in the middle of
Well,
this
and
retention
that's what I was
pond.
kind of alluding to, the fact that we don't preserve it for day one and then knowing that it's going to be gone and shortly after. So
Exactly.
Okay.
So the goal is to look at the condition of the tree that they're trying to preserve, make sure that it makes sense to preserve it, and then go about making sure that the steps that we're taking in their development protect that tree long-term and aren't just going to, all right, we preserved the tree, we saved $100,000 in fees, and now it's coming down.
yeah, okay, that's what I just want to clarify on that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I think the other thing is, you mentioned, we talked a little.
Ma'am, your mic is off.
Thank you. We talked a little bit about this concept of an arborist when often the arborists are working for the tree removal companies. And so there might be some undue pressure on them to deem a tree qualified when in fact, I had that situation in the back of our house is that we had a water oak that we suspected was, it was starting to die. We noticed that it was losing limbs and things. And they said, often these water oaks, they die from the inside out. Well, it turned out that, there were some tools they could have used to know that for sure. And then when we took it out, it turned out that the tree was fine, and so it just really needed to be trimmed way back. So I think it's important that, that we are helping residents by giving them the opportunity to save the tree if it's possible.
Absolutely. And there are mechanisms within the ordinance to allow city staff, when we're reviewing these tree removal permits, if we think there's something fishy going on or we're not quite in agreement, there's mechanisms for us to go about and do a further review on that, or bring in an arborist to do our own independent look at it. Hopefully
Especially if
using
you're
that
going
extremely
out to the
sparingly,
site.
but
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, that is critical that you're going out to the site, because
Correct.
before that may have been something we didn't do, particularly on a residential project.
Correct.
Okay.
I really, are you done?
Yes, thank
I
you.
really like the idea that you're reaching out to all the tree guys to let them know, because a lot of times I see it all the time, trees coming down on the weekends and
Right.
there's no permits. So I think reaching out to them and letting them know, hey, if you do it and you get caught, there's a price to pay. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing that. Is there anyone online that has any questions for Will?
No, I'd just like to thank staff for the work they've done. I think this really is a lot of potential to really help us as we try to protect the trees and the canopy in the city. So thank you.
Yes, and Will, this is Lance here. Thank you for looking out for the little guy too, because I know the 30 space limit kind of helps them as well. So we just need to be aware that some of the smaller people that come in wanting to operate a business, we need to make exception for them and try and still preserve the trees as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was in Savannah this past week, and the trees there are incredible. All the parks and everything have these giant, these beautiful live oaks, and they're, Spanish moss, dripping Spanish moss, and they just are so romantic and so beautiful. And we lost a lot of trees, over 80 trees. I think our public works director told us in Zephyr Park after Milton or in our parks. And so we have to work hard to get that back.
Absolutely.
We owe it to our grandchildren,
Well, if there's no more discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Did you take public comment?
Oh, no, I did not. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'd like to move that we approve this with the recommendations and revisions suggested by Will.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Shane, Public Works Director.
Good evening, Shane LeBlanc, Public Works Director. I have a presentation of a GMP for the City Maintenance Complex to give you tonight. We also have some representatives from AD Morgan Corporation that will be getting up and giving you more details and answering any questions that you might have. You have a 44-page document in your packet, which has an executive summary and also some scheduling. And I'm just going to go over some quick numbers. The guaranteed maximum price is $25,999,999.00. That's the guaranteed maximum price submitted by the AD Morgan Corporation. A little history on that. When we started getting bids from the subcontractors, it was our intent to work hard to value engineer and get the cost. That sounds like a whopper of a number, and it is, but we actually were up at 27.9 at one time, and we whittled that down to 25,999.99, and that was approximately 41 value engineering suggestions that we worked with the contractor, the design team during design and development to get where we're at today. The project will be about 1.5 years construction, and it pretty much sums it up. It's going to be a big project for us. Occupied campus. We still have to keep our fuel farm in service while we're building new buildings and demoing buildings. So it's going to be a big project for us.
It's going to be quite an ordeal for you and your guys to work, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we're, it's an occupied campus. So we have to keep our daily operations going and also do the construction and demo at the same time.
Do you have staging areas nearby, like at the airport? I mean, is there areas where you could move the fleet vehicles, when they're working on a project for a few weeks, clearing the land or doing the framing for a new building? Do you have some flexibility?
Well, that's a great question. Right north of the existing city yard, there's some airport property there where we're going to have our laydown area. And then when the contractor mobilizes, we're going to set up a phasing plan, temporary employee parking. We're going to build the admin building off Airport Road first, along with a new fleet shop. And then when those two buildings are complete, we can move out of building A where we're at now, and that will become a parking lot. So it's going to be a lot of work getting it done.
Moving parts and pieces, yeah.
A lot of moving parts. But if I could, I'm going to introduce representatives from the AD Morgan Corporation.
Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, name and address.
Matt DiMatteo, AD Morgan Corporation, 9126 Cypress Keep Lane, Odessa, Florida.
Thank you. Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. It's a pleasure to be back here again, almost 1.5 years later. And we put together a very brief presentation. We wanted to be available for any questions that the council may have. I know it's a big project. It's very important to the city. It's very important to us that you feel comfortable with everything that you see and what we're about to embark on as a team. So I did bring representatives of the team tonight. We're going to hit briefly on our agenda, but beginning with the project team, like we said from the very beginning of this journey, that from the top of our organization down to the boots on the ground every day are going to be here by your side. From a day-to-day perspective, you'll be dealing very closely with Logan Mushrow, our senior project manager, and project manager Cody Rodsky. There is, like you said, a lot of operational considerations on the project. We're going to be working in an active occupied campus and, doing open heart surgery and, keeping everything functioning as we're there. So communication is going to be key. And these two are going to be, running point to make sure that happens seamlessly. And then from a field perspective, George Rivera and John Cooley will be the superintendents on site, making sure that schedule accountability, quality oversight, and everything are managed to a T. Shane really hit on it. As far as the GMP executive summary, there is a lot of detail in that packet. It's a culmination of hundreds and hundreds of hours of our folks' time and subcontractors' time going into, validating the accuracy of the pricing and its compliance with the project plans and specifications. But, the win in the story is, where we were at the design development phase. We were estimating with market feedback at that time at the project to be about $27.9 million. And through value engineering, close collaboration with Shane, the city, the team, the design team, and that effort, we were able to get it down about $1.9 million. So, to us, that's a win, even though we're still talking about very, very big dollars. And if there are any specific questions on the GMP, I'm also happy to be on the hot seat. So as far as the schedule goes and the phasing, again, this was a culmination of working with, the stakeholders on the site. We broke the project into two separate phases so that, we could allow the continued operation and really minimize our footprint, really prioritizing the continued use of the fuel island. But the first phase will conclude around March of 2027, kicking off the second phase and then wrapping up in September of 2027 with the whole project. We did bring the phasing plan just as a graphic representation, but you can see phase one is the lion's share of the work, with phase two condensing, but really phase one and phase two were separated to allow the continued use of the utilities building while we're building the new administration building so that we could make a seamless swap over when the new facility is complete. So thank you very much for this opportunity and, the continued partnership with A.D. Morgan, and here to answer any questions you may have.
Do we have any questions?
Sure.
Does anyone online have any questions?
Not at
Thank
this
you.
time, no.
All right, well, thank you. Do we need a motion on this, Matthew? All right,
Yes, we do.
If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Yeah, let me clarify that a little bit more.
4.1.
Yeah, move to approve item number 4.1, award of the GMP, guaranteed maximum price for the Public Works facility.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. All right. Moving on, city manager's report. Are you with us, Billy?
I am. I do not know the details to this, but what I do know is Commandos has partnered with Vets Feeding Vets and would like to hold a 10-year anniversary party, and they have requested to close 15th Avenue. Per our ordinance, they have to have a not-for-profit, and so as I said, they partnered with Vets Feeding Vets to apply for this permit. The event is February 7th, 2026. If there's any questions, we're here to answer. What I failed to mention that they are asking for a wet zone, and that's why it's before council.
So, Mr. Poe, is the wet zone, is this defined with an illustrated? I don't recall seeing an illustration of, is it in the, let me see if it's in the wet zone.
Yeah, so it is, so it's Commandos, and then it's just that one block section of 15th Avenue.
I see that now.
South
Okay.
of the property. Yeah, between 6 and 301, correct.
Okay, I see there are two red lines. That's it. That must be
Yes,
that, and that would be the wet zone.
Yes, ma'am.
And they have.
In their parking lot as well.
Yeah, and they've probably have an agreement with the adjacent property owner too, to help them.
Yes,
control
they
traffic.
typically have parking in that adjacent property in Friday and Saturday evenings.
Okay, perfect.
Billy, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, my only question is, typically when we do these wet zones, it's down on Fifth Avenue, and our our public works and the police are kind of familiar with what's going on. Is everybody okay with how we're gonna have to handle that, blocking the road off and policing that and all?
My understanding is yes, they had a special event meeting and addressed all of those concerns.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, Shane LeBlanc, Public Works Director, Public Works will take care of the closure. We have to nail down the hours of opening and closing the road, but our Public Works team will take care of that because they're certified in maintenance of traffic. And for liability, we need to block it off and open it back up.
Okay, thank you.
And are the police, have police been contacted regarding providing supervision? Thank you, Chief.
Unfortunately, I don't do the event planning meetings. Lieutenant Gardner does. But I will tell you that I certainly hope so. Particularly when we're talking about wet zones and particularly that location, considering it's right on 301.
Right.
I would certainly hope that we have some officer presence there. So
Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Is there any more questions? Do we need a motion on this?
Yep.
Yes.
I'll move for approval of the Commando Special Event approval for a wet zone.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Mayor's announcements? I guess
He has none.
She has none. Okay, thank you. City managers announcements?
I have none.
City attorney's announcements?
None from me.
We'll move on to city council. Councilman Burgess?
I'll just tell those people in Tallahassee to stay warm.
Oh yeah, it's a little chilly up here.
That's all I have.
Ms. Wilkerson?
Thank you. I was traveling last week, but I just wanted to extend my sincerest condolences to the family of Bobby Black and his work family, because he was a very integral part of Public Works and Sanitation and was beloved and a very fine dresser, I might add. God rest his soul. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I think further for me.
Is there any other council that's online have anything to say?
No, sir, thank you.
No, sir.
All right, thank you. And I have nothing. So on that, I'm going to close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.